class action lawsuit has been launched against the distributors of anti-gay literature during Toronto's Gay Pride Parade. Let's go live to Ottawa, where the details are being announced.
Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, Premier Kathleen Wynne of Ontario, and all known or self-identified Liberals who marched in the 2016 Pride Parade, including the Attorney General of Canada. Under Ontario's Class Proceedings Act, all class members are automatically included unless they opt out in a court-approved process that will become available at a later date. The claims are based in civil conspiracy, the tort of intentional infliction of mental suffering, and defamation. The action also seeks an injunction preventing Whatcott and his co-conspirators from further distribution of hate speech and from attempting to participate in any future Pride parades anywhere in Canada. Bill Whatcott is one of Canada's most notorious anti-gay crusaders. Based in Western Canada for decades, he has been distributing pamphlets condemning and degrading the LGBT community. In the past, he's generally handed them out on university campuses or going door to door with his allies, stuffing them into mailboxes. On his website, he describes one such literature drop in Jim Prentice's Calgary rioting as a, quote, jihad, end quote. In Regina in 2000 and 2001, Whatcott distributed 4 types of anti-gay pamphlets. This resulted in proceedings brought against him by the Saskatchewan Human Rights Commission alleging hate speech. In a unanimous 2013 ruling, the Supreme Court of Canada found that 2 of the 4 types of pamphlets did constitute hate speech and upheld an order that had been made at the original hearing that Whatcott was not to distribute further hate literature of this type. According to the Huffington Post, Whatcott immediately denounced the Supreme Court ruling as, quote, rubbish, end quote, and stated that he intended to ignore the ruling. He believes he is above the law. He has been true to his word in that regard. In 2014, Whatcott lied about his identity to gain access to the Vancouver Pride Parade, where he distributed anti-gay literature disguised as packages of free condoms. This year, Whatcott again lied about his identity and claimed to be Robert Clinton of the Gay Zombies Cannabis Consumers Association. Whatcott has admitted on his website that he deliberately lied, knowing that Pride Toronto would never allow him to march if they knew who he really was. Whatcott also failed to submit his proposed literature to Pride Toronto in advance for approval as required by the parade rules. The offensive literature was similar in nature to the material condemned by the Supreme Court as hate speech in Whatcott's own case in 2013. Given that this was the first time a sitting Prime Minister was marching in a Pride parade in Canada, Whatcott also took aim at the Liberals and defamed Justin Trudeau, Kathleen Wynne, and the other Liberals who marched in the parade. Whatcott bragged about pulling one over Pride Toronto in an interview that he did with Toronto's Extra newspaper. In that same article, Whatcott states that he has gone bankrupt. How then is he financing these activities? The lawsuit claims not just against Bill Whatcott and against the people who marched in the parade, but everyone who may have assisted him, those who paid for his airfare or donated Aeroplan points to get him to Toronto, the people who put him up in Toronto, the people who paid to print the pamphlets, anyone who helped him in any way could be on the hook for $100 million. I'd now like to call on my friend and client, Christopher Hudspeth, to say a few words. Christopher.
Good afternoon. As Doug has said, my name is Christopher Hudspeth. I'm a gay man. I am the owner of Pegasus on Church, an LGBT-focused bar in the Village, downtown Toronto. I first met Douglas when he was acting on the CPP class action for my late friend, George Hislop. When George died, I was honored to be his executor and to carry on his fight in his name. I'm very proud of the victory Douglas and I achieved at the Supreme Court for surviving gay and lesbian spouses in 2006. I marched this year in the Pride Parade where Whatcott Zombies group was marching near me. Based on the comments I overheard about their costumes that obscured their faces, I am now convinced that they were deliberately lying and trying to disguise their identities. As a longtime gay activist, I am outraged that the notorious homophobe infiltrated our Pride Parade in order to spread his lies and distribute his pamphlets. Pride needs to be a safe space for everyone. We put up with enough homophobic and heterocentric messaging every day. We deserve a homophobic-free zone in our Pride Parade. This is the third Pride Parade that Whatcott has lied his way into in order to advance this hateful and disgusting message. I plan to see that this is the last time he gets away with it. I was raised in a fundamentalist Pentecostal home. As a young adult, I worked for the televangelist David Maines and his 100 Huntley Street program. It was through this organization that I also helped facilitate many other television enterprises for other religious groups. Eventually, I accepted the fact that I was gay and that I needed to escape this environment that was not loving toward me as a gay man, but extremely toxic. Despite my differences with fundamentalists, I remain a person who respects the religious beliefs of all. Too often, however, religion is used as the justification for the vilest of homophobia. From my life on the inside of the fundamentalist movement, I know that promoting homophobia is a great way of raising money among other fundamentalists. There is no doubt in my mind that some fundamentalist group, either here or in the United States, is backing these activities. We need to smoke them out. I am delighted to be back in the fray again, carrying on George's proud tradition and standing up for our rights. Thank you.
All right, just listening into the launch of a class action lawsuit there in Ottawa. This relates to literature that was handed out during Toronto's Pride Parade. We're going to continue to follow that and bring you any updates.